Oh man, what a week it's been for Marvel, right? I'll come back to that, but tonight we got Loki season 2, episode 5. Very excited about this one. I think last week's episode was probably one of my favorite of the series so far. I mean, that cliffhanger I think is probably one of the best things that they've done since Infinity War and Endgame, just cliffhanger wise. Not saying quality wise, just saying, leaving everyone on the edge of their seat anticipating the next week's episode. But then they had to go and ruin it by releasing a mid-season trailer that basically spoils all the reveals I presume we're going to see in this episode, like seeing all these different characters on the sacred timeline or on a timeline in general. Like, we kind of knew Mobius was going to become a jet ski salesman just based off of the few frames of footage that we had from the trailer, the actual trailer, but in this they just full on confirm it, and they confirm a few other things too, but I don't want to say it out loud and remind myself and kind of spoil myself again. So I think they kind of ruined the element of surprise. But speaking of ruin, God, Variety ruined Kevin Feige's day yesterday, didn't they? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, they released an article basically eviscerating Marvel Studios and all of the behind-the-scenes drama that's been going on, all of the numbers that have been faltering, the plummeting stock that Disney has, and they're basically going after the root of the problem, and there are lots of problems. Literally every content creator I know and every content creator I follow was making a video on this, and I was thinking about making a video on it, but I figured I'd just save my thoughts for this reaction. But who knows, maybe I will do a video on it, because the MCU is something I'm very passionate about, and whenever I see a lot of distressing or negative news like this, it makes me mad in one way or another, because I know the MCU has the potential to be good. But what Variety does in this article is basically just regurgitate what the fans have been saying for the last couple of years in terms of complaints and grievances that they've had with the Disney Plus shows, the movies in general. The trades and all these other big outlets are finally starting to catch up with what we're having to say, and it's becoming prominent now. Now it's not just a bunch of YouTubers dunking on Disney, and Disney can't just dismiss it as, haters and stuff. Because let's face it, that's what they've been doing for the past 3 years. Anytime anybody complains on YouTube, it's shoved to the side, disregarded, not real complaint. They're just a hater, they're an ist, they're a phobe. And that's kind of what all of this stuff this week has been leading to. This whole stuff with South Park and the Pandaverse. I think it's hilarious. You can be mad at me all you want. I don't care. I think it's funny. And I mean, in that South Park episode, they go after both sides. I mean, they go after the YouTubers that are constantly complaining about the woke stuff, and then they go after Disney, who is doing the woke stuff. And I use woke loosely. I think it's a term that has lost pretty much all of its meaning at this point just because of how much it's thrown around. And that's all I'll get into that, because I know that's a touchy subject. But all these big trades are really starting to catch up with what we're having to say, and that's reflective in what Marvel Studios is starting to change. They know Daredevil Born Again has got to be a hit, or at least on par with the Netflix series. It's not going to be. They're sure as hell going to try, but it's not going to be. But they know it has to be good. So they're completely starting from scratch with that show. And though it's been in production hell for years, the Blade movie just got the Logan writers, so that makes me excited. But if you heard what they were going to do with Blade, holy fuck, dude. The original Blade script, I kid you not, go and read this article, was going to be a female-led story about life lessons where Blade was the fourth lead role, relegated to the fourth lead. Like, they're literally just doing the Pandaverse stuff in real life now. Like, if that's true, like, we're this close to like parody world. Blade is one of the easiest characters to oh my god, it's just a dude that kills vampires. But they're fixing both Daredevil and Blade, hopefully. But me saying that things are getting fixed right now, or at least changing very drastically, is me being too optimistic. Like, dude, there are still so many stinkers coming down the pipeline, and I don't call them stinkers because I think they're going to be bad per se. I just don't think anybody really cares. We got the Marvels coming out in a week. That's looking like it's gonna crack $1 billion Monopoly dollars. I got my one ticket for myself yesterday because no one I know is interested in going to see this movie. And dude, it's not looking good. Like, my theater probably has 15 to 20 people max in it, and it's 120 person occupancy in my XD Cinemark theaters. So Echo's coming up in January. Apparently that's getting a trailer tomorrow. Thought What If was coming out first. You think that you'd want to market that first, and why are you marketing at the same time that Loki and the Marvels is? Dude, I don't know what they're doing. They're so dumb. But seriously, Echo didn't ooze enough interest in Hawkeye for me to be like, dude, give her own show right now. I need it. There's only a few characters that are gonna make me do that, and it's not Echo or a few of these next people that I'm about to mention. Ironheart, dude, no interest. Like, Wakanda Forever, she was cool, but like, do we need a show about her? Agatha, Diary of a Witch's Coven, whatever it's called now. who cares? Like, dude, seriously, who wants these shows? No offense if you do want them, but you're in the minority here. I could go on and on about this article, and I'm not going to because I know it pisses a lot of people off, you know, talking about the negativity. It just can't, some people just can't handle the truth, man. I'm being facetious. You know what I mean. Some people just don't like all the negative talk about the MCU, and I get that. They like to live in their bubble where everything is happy playtime all the time, and that's cool. You can do that. No ill will against you, but the reality is the MCU is slipping. The numbers support that. The fan base supports that. I support that. Majority of people that I know support that. But despite all of this negativity, this show has been an absolute bright spot, and that's why I think I've been really fair towards Marvel over the last couple of years. I've pointed out where they've been absolutely doo-doo shit pile, and then whenever they're good, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Shang-Chi, No Way Home, you know, even WandaVision, and this show, I call it out as it is. I'm gonna call balls and strikes here, and if you guys don't like that, that's fine. You guys can go elsewhere. But I appreciate all of you guys that stick around and listen. But like I said, I have a lot of excitement for these last 2 episodes. Probably the last exciting thing coming out from Marvel in 2023. I mean, what if season 2 will be okay? But I'm just not looking forward to the Marvels. I mean, like I said, I got my ticket to review it, but I don't have excitement. I have intrigue, but there's like no excitement for it whatsoever, and that's a problem. And with all the delays coming up, who knows when the next MCU theater release is going to be. Is it going to be Captain America 4? I assume it's going to be the first one that comes out in 2024. If I'm not mistaken, I think Deadpool still has like half of its physical photography to do, and Captain America 4 is done, so we're probably going to see that first, but it really doesn't matter. It's probably going to be a while anyway. So I'm excited to see this episode, excited to see how it sets up the finale. Before we get started though, do me a favor, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, like button, turning on post notifications. Whatever you guys want to do to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in seeing full-length versions of this reaction or any other reaction that I have up on the channel, as well as early access to said reactions, you'll find them right here on YouTube on my membership page. So if you guys could check those out as well, I would greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, I'm super excited. So let's go.
Every step you took to get here, I paved the road.
I still think that all of this is going to plan, even though the end of last episode was just abysmal, but I feel like it's all going according to He Who Remains' plan, but I could be wrong. Alright, we're getting the full intro this time. It's weird how they do that. Like, sometimes they put the full intro on us, and then sometimes it's like the 5-second trailer version, but damn, this music is... What are we... That's above so below? What is going on? If you guys have seen that movie, one of my favorite horror movies. What? That is a haunting shot. Because nothing seems to be happening, but everything's happening. Oh, that is such a good shot. Oh, fuck. What? The loom seems like it's stabilizing. What happened? Did he time slip? I assume he time slipped before the loom exploded.
No, this is not happening again.
Dude, oh, the effect is so good. See himself. Yeah.
Hello?
Huh. Did we see that happen yet? Like where he heard something and looked off? If we're gonna see it at all, maybe he sees it in this episode later on. Or he's gonna see it right now. No, he is. That's so crazy.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, balls. Oh, wow, that's great. Failsafe mode. Oh, I got chills, dude. That's crazy. The kind of chills you get with this show is like the sense of a mystery unraveling. And I love that. It's just so mysterious. The hell are we? That's not a real person. Casey and Shawshank? What is happening? Was this Casey's life on the timeline? To Alcatraz? Yeah. Is Loki gonna time slip to him? Oh shit.
If they catch us, they're gonna cut us like fish.
Got us like fish.
How'd you get here?
How did I get where?
Alcatraz.
What? I don't know how I got here.
This is great.
Frank.
It is true. You said your name was Frank.
It is.
His name's Casey.
I don't know this guy. I don't know you. Come on.
Well, his name is obviously Casey. Dude, that is wild. Dude, the camera movement is so good. These Moon Knight guys that have been directing some of these episodes, dude, give them a movie, please. Give them Secret Wars. If you don't know who to get for Secret Wars, just do it. Oh, shit. Oh my god, yes! Yes! The king is on a jet ski! No, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is amazing.
Don, your son's calling on line 3.
Tell him I'll call him back. So talk to me.
Oh, this is modern day. I figured this would have been in the 80s.
Come on, you ready for your Poseidon moment? Jump up on this bad boy.
I'm good. Sorry.
It's okay.
That's so good. That was good.
The TVA is gone.
I think you mean ATV, and no, you're in luck. We got in 2 of them last week. They're upstairs.
You don't remember me either.
Dude, this is crazy.
Told you, I'll call him back.
Your other son.
Tell him I'll call him back too.
Duh. Now where are we at? Is this Ouroboros?
I read everything he does.
Let's check it out.
Better hurry. There's only a few left on the shelf.
Are you buying your own book? You. I told you to stop putting your sci-fi books on our shelves.
Science fiction is a well-respected and thought-provoking genre.
I'd buy your book, OB. Bro. Why? They gotta do him so dirty. Is he a scientist? Then an author? This is his lab. Like in the TVA. Like the shape of it and then the fans in the back. Jesus. Is this all gonna loop back around and Loki's the one who actually created the TVA and Kang took over?
Of course I believe you. It's a dream come true.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to believe you. You just appeared out of string in front of him. What's that? Talking about?
You were a writer.
Yes. Science fiction.
I'm doomed.
I had to get a PhD to keep my day job teaching theoretical physics at Caltech.
Wait, you're a scientist as well? That's great.
Yeah, until I can quit and write full-time. Hey, look at this. Here's a copy. You time travel in a place that has no time, right?
Right.
That's not possible.
I know.
That is, yeah.
To a place that doesn't exist anymore is equally impossible. And therefore, it's something you might be able to do.
Sure.
You need to learn how to control your time slipping.
Dude, if he could, bro, if he could control it.
It isn't random, because you keep ending up around exactly the people you're looking for.
That is true.
You make it sound like it's a good thing.
With science, it's all what and how. But with fiction, it's why.
Yeah, dude, if they set him up like
You need to do this.
for Secret Wars being able to time slip, it would make a lot of sense with the rumors going around right now with them going around to different timelines and different, you know, portions of time and collecting all these heroes. So it's having a little more merit now. And if he is going to become Avenger Prime or the Prime Avenger, which I still want to see happen so bad.
Maybe you need to try harder.
I'm trying as hard as I can.
Try harder. You got it. I like to think that that's what Tom Hiddleston did on set. Like, and then they just put all the VFX over him.
So, this equation proposes that... What are you doing?
Science. Now we know that electrical pulses don't
You didn't get him back.
time slip.
Oh no, he restrained himself.
We get the band back together. If we can get everyone together in one place, we can read that aura. It'll be like coordinates.
And we can use these coordinates to get back to that moment in time.
No,
What?
we don't have one of those 10 pads you talked about.
Well, can you build one? You can build one.
Without any of the knowledge of how it works, I would have to invent it all from scratch.
Yeah.
What's that?
You tell me you wrote it.
I did.
You did. There's one on every desk at the TVA.
So I am gonna write a bestseller.
Let's get to work.
Oh god.
That's a problem.
That is, yeah, you're right. Good observation, OB.
I'm tired of coming home and having it look like some lunatic garage sale. Is he burnt?
Yeah, he's burnt. Who gave you the matches?
I stole them.
No, you... Give them to me. Come on. Don't run. Kevin, Kevin, get...
Sean, go get him. Come on. Hurry. And if you keep him from burning down the house, I'll get you a puppy.
Are you still in the market? Because I have something... I got something I want to show you. Come here. A beautiful union of form and function.
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm not here to buy a jet ski. I'm going to tell you something that's hard to understand, Mobius.
Mobius?
Mobius, that's your name. Mobius is your real name, and you belong in a place called the TVA.
But does he belong there?
What? How did you build a tempad so fast?
I don't know if I say 18 months is fast.
What's happening?
I promise you this will make sense.
Tempad's looking a little rough there.
You saved my life when I first arrived. You saw something in me that I hadn't seen in myself. You once told me it was the only life you'd ever known.
I sell jet skis, man.
This is the most Owen Wilson thing I've ever heard.
Look, you can come back anytime.
Oh, you were at the shop earlier, right?
What were you calling me?
Mobius.
It's a pretty cool name.
I thought the music was building up for the end of the episode. I was like, dude, what the hell?
This is going to sound strange.
He finally gets out and then he's gonna get recruited. Dude, the soundtrack is killer. Now we're just missing Sylvie.
Are you part of this whole saving the... Is this room safe? I wonder for the wormhole or the...
So, is this everyone?
No.
I was gonna say, he did time slip to McDonald's earlier. Oh, shit. Reality is not looking good, dude.
I know you don't know who
Loki,
I am.
of course I know who you are.
What?
Why wouldn't she?
This isn't how I thought the scene was going to play out.
No? What exactly were you expecting? Get in the car. I'm buying you a drink.
You mean the drink that just disappeared?
They don't remember who they
Saniac
are.
game.
Their lives matter. They matter.
He who remains did that.
But Mobius should have a choice now. No? Shouldn't they all? To return to the TVA if they want?
No, you would be ripping people from their lives, showing them something that they cannot unsee.
There's two sides to the coin in every episode, which is great. Like there's always a dilemma. There's always an inner conflict that they have to discuss or even if it's not solved or fixed. It's always brought up in a way.
What's wrong with wanting something, Loki? What do you want?
I want to stop He Who Remains.
No.
I want the TVA back.
And?
What do you want?
I want my friends back.
2 bourbons, please.
But without them, where do I belong?
We're all writing our own stories now.
Damn.
Borrow this thing for a bit.
Don't bother. You should all go home.
Don't you ever go home?
I like it here more.
Well, I'm glad of the company tonight.
This has been such a compelling episode, just like character-wise. We're diving into so many different characters' angles, and it's great. So what's happening with her universe? Because the McDonald's drinking bag, they're not here anymore. They're gone forever. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, this is a cool scene. But terrifying. Whoa. This is crazy. Dude, that's crazy. That whole universe is just gone. I love that we got to see the perspective of a dissipating timeline, because it's been kind of hard to emotionally connect to those timelines that have been disappearing like that. But now that we've seen it and getting like a sense of the horror of it, it's great.
So now they're okay?
You should all just
No, don't go back
to your
home.
lives.
Don't do it. It's not a good idea.
You're all just fine without him.
No, they aren't. The branches are dying.
So what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but there must be something we can do.
The pens. We have all the pens.
Aura.
Where did it go?
Hey,
I didn't take it.
listen. You can rob every bank you like when this is done. We need that 10 pad now.
Great, but I still didn't take it.
Oh. Bye. No.
No, I have to go back to see my boys.
There's nowhere left to go.
Bro, you got a time slip.
Do you think that what makes a Loki is the fact that we're destined to lose? There's nowhere left to go.
You can do it.
No, they aren't.
This is so good. This is so good.
I did it.
Did what?
Learn to control your time slipping.
Wait, so how does it work now? Is he just going back to the same body?
I can rewrite the story.
Dude! Dude! Oh, that was good. This is another good cliffhanger. Went back to last episode. They're gonna fix it that way. That was good. That was good. You know, dude, I'm just looking back at, like, I'm just looking at Disney Plus right now. I'm looking at the Loki tab, looking at season 1, looking back at all the episodes. I often do this because you'll often forget what episodes you did and didn't like if it's been a while since you've seen the show. And I rewatched season 1 for season 2, but I'm just looking at this and it reminded me of how I did this for The Mandalorian. But just looking at these episodes' thumbnails and reading the descriptions, you kind of remember those episodes a little bit and you kind of appreciate more what those episodes did for the larger story of the show. And, you know, in my opinion, season 2 has been better than season 1. I know there's people out there that are saying season 1 had that fun element. Season 2 is a little bit too dark. It's a little bit too confusing. And I agree. It's darker. It's a lot more serious in tone. It's not as fun as the first season was. And I think that's a natural progression for this show, especially with the villain they chose to go with, and with Kang being the, creator of everything, or at least that's what it seems like right now. But the first season was a lot of fun, and then we get into the second season and shit just hit the fan, because shit hit the fan at the end of the first season. But this season has just been done tenfold over the first season. It's just incredible to me how good they managed to make this season. And this show isn't a lot of action-packed scenes, thrown together, a bunch of CGI goobly glop, like a lot of the other Disney Plus shows have been and the finales have been. Loki has been different. Loki, I think, is the first Disney Plus show that didn't have a big CGI battle at the end. We had a fight between Sylvie and Loki, and that's it. But pretty much the whole episode was a conversation between them and He Who Remains, and that whole dilemma. So Loki, in its own right, has always been very, very different and very, very unique whenever it comes to the Disney Plus shows. And quite frankly, I think this is the only show that has fit really well with the 6-episode formula. And of course, I'd like to see more episodes, but I feel like with this season so far and with the first season, they perfectly fit a story into 6 episodes, and it's not too crammed. It's not under-explained. It's perfect. Sure, there are a few nitpicks that you might have, but whenever you compare them to all the other Disney Plus shows, it's so much better, because a lot of these shows, and we're finding this out now with everything that Variety's been reporting on and everything that we've come to find out about these Disney Plus shows over the last couple of years, but they don't do TV the classic way. They don't get showrunners like most TV shows do. And they're finally fixing that, because they've seen the problems that the Disney Plus shows have had. The problems with the 6-episode formula that they've done with a lot of these shows. I think that they need to stray away from that. I think they need to at least go to 8. At least 8 episodes per season. I know it's not much more than 6, but 6 is just, that's a mini series. 8 is a season. But this episode in general, dude, just fantastic. I mean, like I said, looking back at Disney Plus, I've really loved every episode of this series, or this season so far, except episode 2. I really liked episode 2. There's just some problems I have with it, and I think it's the whole Doc storyline, not getting enough screen time with those characters, because I feel like we only got 3 scenes with them, and it was supposed to be like this compelling, storyline that was upheld through 4 episodes of this season, and I just really didn't feel anything when they died, and I think that's kind of why I was complaining about it so much. But the death scene more than made up for it last episode, so I don't have too much to complain about. And besides all that, dude, Ouroboros, the first episode, loved it. Loved the dark tone. Loved the reintroduction to this world. Breaking Bad I thought was good, but like I said, I had those problems. 1893 I thought was fantastic. Just the aesthetic of the World Fair and that time period, and Jonathan Majors' performance. A lot of people were clowning on it. I liked it. I get why people don't like it. Not everybody's gonna like it. It's not the style. It's not everybody's taste, but I really liked it. I thought it fit with the time period. It fit with the character that he was trying to pull off, the con man. But that's carried on into the 4th episode as well. I liked his performance in the 4th episode. I really liked what they did with the 4th episode. 4th episode of this season is probably my favorite so far. In terms of going beat to beat from start to finish in last week's episode, it had me entertained throughout, enthralled throughout, and captured throughout. And this episode did that in a very, very similar way. But there wasn't a lot of action. There wasn't a lot of suspense, immediate suspense, should I say, like there was last week whenever the loom was exploding. At this point in the story, we're past the point where the TVA has been destroyed and Loki's trying to fix it, or at least go back to a point where the TVA is still there and bring all of his friends, Mobius, all of them with him. And shit is hitting the fan, because obviously Sylvie's universe is gone now. I'll get to that whenever we go through the episode itself, but I really liked the beginning of this episode where it was kind of following Loki right after the events of last episode, where we see him waking up. Everybody's been returned to their timelines. He's the only one left in the TVA. He doesn't know what's going on. He finds himself from the future, from whenever he time slips later, I thought that was fantastic. And then he has the TVA book, the handbook for later. And then jumping ahead or backwards, however you want to interpret it, we get a good look at each one of our characters' lives. I mean, we get to see that Casey was a prisoner in Alcatraz because he was a robber or a murderer. Who knows? I don't take Casey for a murderer, but he seems to have a theft problem because he pocketed that thing in Ouroboros' studio or that storage area that they were in. We see B-15 is a doctor at a hospital, it looks like, and she seems to be a pediatrician, maybe. Mobius, obviously a jet ski salesman, dude. When they cut to him on the jet ski, oh, it's so good. Chef's kiss. And then poor OB, he's a struggling author, but then he finds out he's a successful author, at least in some point in time, with the whole TVA handbook and everything. I thought that was really, really cool. But seeing the character interactions, and it kind of started with OB in this episode, because OB is the first person that Loki comes into contact with after time slipping throughout the sacred timeline, it seemed. Because I think all of them were on the sacred timeline, right? Because all of the other branches are destroyed now, right? Isn't that how it works? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert. This stuff is confusing, so I need a little bit of an explanation sometimes. But for the most part, I think I've grasped it. But the character conversation between OB and Loki in this episode, and even Mobius and Loki in this episode, just those conversations and those moments where we can really get into the characters' heads, it's just fantastic. And I think this is one of the better written Disney Plus shows that we've had, up there with Andor. And I really liked seeing Mobius's whole dilemma, you know, like he can't just leave his kids. I mean, his wife is dead or they're divorced. Who knows what happened to her, but he can't just leave his kids on the timeline with no dad. And Loki obviously shows him that's not going to be the case. He's always going to be there for them in one way or another. But seeing Loki talk to him like that, and then at the end, whenever Mobius was turning into Lo Mein, he ran towards the door and he's like, I gotta go and see my boys. But you know, I think my favorite part of this episode was in the bar whenever Loki and Sylvie were talking about free will and all of their friends from the TVA and how they're just better off living their lives and not knowing anything about the TVA. But obviously we see later, we need the TVA. But that conversation that they were having about Loki trying to find himself and, you know, his real reason for doing all of this and them being selfish, I thought that was done so well, and very well written and very well acted. I think that their chemistry as actors has gotten so much better since the first season. I mean, I think in the first season their chemistry was good and they both acted great, but I feel like in this season it's been a lot stronger from both of them. I mean, I give them both props. Tom Hiddleston has always been great, but I think Sophia DiMartino, I think her name is, she's been fantastic as well. And dude, that scene of Sylvie's timeline just disappearing and stranding into the noodles, that was kind of scary. I mean, just like the camera angles and the shots they used, it kind of reminded me of the techniques that they used on like the X-Men films for the Quicksilver running scenes. But obviously with her being in the record store, having the headphones on, she doesn't know what's going on behind her, and seeing all of that happen, it really honed in on the scariness and the seriousness and just the overall horror feeling that gives off whenever one of those universes dissipate like that. And you know, it's been a little bit hard to emotionally invest ourselves in these universes that are disappearing like that, and seeing it actually happen, besides in Doctor Strange, I mean, that was kind of just like things were floating around. I mean, I don't really want to consider that destroying a universe, but seeing everyone just strand away and then her being the only thing left in this dark void of stringing Lo Mein and walking into the portal back to the TVA or back to Loki, I thought was great. And now going forward, Loki can control his time slipping, which is really, really cool. And it supports the theory that he's going to end up becoming the Prime Avenger or Avenger Prime. But him being able to do that and him building up to that in this episode was all because of his emotional relationship with everybody in this show. And that's what makes this show, is, you know, the characters in it. The story's great, but the characters are just top notch. I really do love all of these characters. But then at the end, we see Loki time slipped back to last episode before He Who Remains went out to try and fix the loom. I guess Loki's gonna try to direct him better, and he's just gonna keep time slipping until they get it right. As to what's gonna happen, I still think this is all a part of He Who Remains' plan. I still think there's something sinister at play. I don't think this season is going to end good for Loki again, because there's one trailer shot. If you guys don't want this spoiled potentially for the next episode, go ahead, click off. But there is a trailer shot of Loki in his jumpsuit again with the TVA collar, and Mobius in his like season 1 episode 1 outfit and style. I mean, I guess he's kind of had that same outfit the whole time, but they're in the same interrogation room that Loki is in the first episode of the show. And we see a shot of Loki talking to somebody, presumably Mobius, and he says, "How do you choose who lives and who dies?" And then we see another shot of him crying, like teary-eyed, of him looking at his own arm flaking away like the noodles. And then there's another shot of Loki and Mobius shaking hands in that same room that they were in episode 1 that I've been talking about. But that brings me to the point of all of this being very, very interesting and this not going in Loki's favor by the end of this show. I could see a scenario where everything gets reset somehow, but I feel like that would piss a lot of people off because it would just diminish everything that happened over the last 2 seasons. It would make it feel pointless in a sense, but who knows where they're going. I'm not going to put any ideas in anybody's heads. I really, really liked this episode. Great penultimate episode. Got me excited for the finale. It did its job in that. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, like button, turning on post notifications. Whatever you guys want to do to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in seeing full-length versions of this reaction or any other reaction that I have up on the channel, as well as early access to said reactions, you'll find them right here on YouTube on my membership page. So if you guys can check those out as well, I would greatly appreciate it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will see you all in the next one.